It's time now for the Sue-ellensanders Show, heard each week at this time, actually twice a week at this time, right here on WPSL. And hosting the show today is none other than Sue-ellensanders.
Welcome to the Sue-ellensanders Show, and we're glad you're here because we have a lot of good information coming up for parents, for kids, for people who are grandparents, for people who are neighbors, for people who are involved in the community, and people that are involved in business. Did I cover everybody in St. Lucie County? Because I was hoping to.
I didn't feel left out.
Okay, good. With me today are representatives from the Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County, and I have with me Melanie Wiles and Will Armstead, and Will is the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County, and Melanie is the COO, correct?
Yes.
So Melanie was here not too long ago talking about some of the programs, but right now what we have coming up in no time at all are some fun activities that are coming up that are fundraisers, but also summer enrollment for the Boys and Girls Club programs and the Chili Cookoff in July. So we got lots to talk about and lots that includes everybody, whether you have kids, whether you're involved with the Boys or Girls Club, whether you want to participate by being a volunteer or giving money, or you just want to have fun. So let's get it started. Melanie.
Thanks for having us. We're so excited to be kicking off the registration for our summer program, and we are going to be offering 12 sites over the summer for parents to choose from for their children.
Wow. It keeps growing.
It is, and it's all over the county, so whether you're in North Fort Pierce or you're all the way in Southport St. Lucie, we got you covered.
And those summer spots in some of the locations, they fill up rather quickly.
Yes, they do. And we actually have a special right now. So anyone that's wanting to enroll in our school-based clubs, they have to hurry because we are offering a special where if they register within the next couple weeks, they get the 5th week half off.
So it's a bargain.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And the school-based sites, you have a total of 12 locations. How many of them are school-based for the summer?
We're going to have 5 or actually 6 in the schools.
So that's great because if your kid goes to that school on a regular basis, then they're just going to have going to the same location will be really easy for you to get there and to find it. Can students who don't go to those schools also participate?
Absolutely, and we're making it very easy on parents. So if you go to Oak Hammock, although we may not have a summer site there, they can actually go to our club at Oak Hammock right now after school or before, look at our list of locations, and sign up directly right at their own school.
So if you're not currently a member of Boys and Girls Club after school program, can you still sign up?
Absolutely.
So what's the best way to find out all the locations?
You could visit our website, which is bgcofslc.org, or they can call 409-4491, and we'd be more than happy to assist you with the closest location.
Now, you're not going to make me ask you questions all hour long, right? You're just going to start to tell stories. You're going to start to tell me about the programs that are offered during the summer and the reason why parents should bring their kids there, and why the need for some type of summer programs have continued to grow.
So we're really proud that we are offering programs that will combat summer learning loss. So
that's a big one.
It is. And a typical day at a Boys and Girls Club, you'll get 3 things. You will get some of that academics piece. You will get some good character and leadership, and you will get the healthy lifestyle. So over the summer, a child could expect to learn some triple play soccer or basketball. They'll participate in our Million Members, Million Hours of Service, which is our program where we teach them about community needs and have them engaged in helping other members of the community that really, really need our help. even for children. So they'll be writing letters to elderly people, learning about veterans, and sending some neat things off to them. And then for academics, we have our summer brain gain, and we have some really cool STEAM kits that are going to be rotating throughout all of our clubs with some special themes, whether it's engineering or maybe they're doing boats, aeronautics, that type of thing. And then we have some really cool things that we're doing with our teens that I know will want to tell you a little bit about.
And the whole idea of the brain gain it's a lot. There are a few families that can afford to, travel around the United States during summer vacation, or go to the museums, or go to Europe, or do cultural and exciting things with your family. And that's great. And those kids benefit a lot from them. But a far higher percentage are kids whose parents don't have the summer off. And so they're sitting at home, and they're either sitting in front of the TV or playing electronic games, or running around and just hanging out and getting into trouble because nobody is supervising them. And those are the kids that, when the schools send home some type of, we want you to read this book over the summer, those are the kids that we're thinking about. But reading one book over the summer is really not going to prevent that loss of learning that 2.5 months of not going to school is going to provide. And because of the type of programs you offer, we hope as teachers that the parents, and we also hope as parents, that at home the kids are learning what they need to know about community awareness and character development and things of that nature. But sometimes there's not always time to teach those things, and maybe mom or dad isn't around to model them. So as educators, we're really happy that you're teaching those skills.
Well, I think to add to what you're saying, we've looked at our model for over the last year or two. And one of the things that we noticed is that we were missing that component, and that was having professional teachers in our locations. So we're spending more time trying to strategically plan how we're going to get more educators in our locations. So this summer, total, we will probably have about 15 educators that are certified in math, reading, and science, so that they can help with the students, but also work with our staff who are not educators.
What, English is like what is the expression, chopped liver?
Exactly. So we're really working through some of those.
That's okay.
Thank you.
No, and that's nice that you're offering that, because especially kids that are struggling in a certain subject, and everybody needs to stay on a schedule during the school year. And so especially if it's math or science or even literature, they've got to stay on that schedule, and the teacher needs to move ahead, whether everyone in the classroom, we try so hard to differentiate and gather up the students that are not getting a full concept. But especially in math and science, where one skill is built upon another skill, and if a kid is feeling lost and doesn't understand one part of their year, then it's really tough for them to catch up. And the summer is a perfect time, not just to give them the skills they need, but give them the confidence. So when they're coming back in August, they're feeling, hey, I got this.
Well, I would also add to that and
I wish
say
you would.
that because they're with caring adults, we're very specific on the people we bring into our organization. And because they're with caring adults, for a full day, I think in some cases 11 hours, they're building relationships. And so there might be some science and math going on throughout the entire day, but it's going on in such a fun way that the kids are enjoying the process of going through that problem that they were trying to solve maybe throughout the year.
And that's that sneaky learning.
Yes.
Fun.
And it is fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's awesome to be able to incorporate that into their day. And also, they've got, their friends, or they can make new friends, especially if they're kids from different schools. So what age group are you mainly gearing most of your summer programs to?
The majority of our kids are going to be 6 years old to 18.
That's pretty wide.
That's
age group.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the majority of them.
Yeah, and we have specific programs for teens too. So although we have a lot of kids that are elementary age, we do some specific programming for the teens that have to do with the career journey. So our kids are going to be learning how to write a resume, letter of recommendations. They're going to be taking some career field trips. And we have a teen summit that wraps up our entire summer. And then this year, we're looking at some new and innovative things. We're actually going to be hosting a camp at a middle school with just middle schoolers. So we're excited about that and looking for specific programs and really things that will hold their interest for that particular age group.
And, you're right. It's a balance, because you do want to teach, but at the same time, you want to make it fun so they're excited to get up and come to camp. It is camp. It's not school. You don't want them to feel like they're just in school. And I think it offers you so much opportunity to be able to combine the component of the education and the character development and come up with games and problem solving. As educators and as parents, we love to see our kids working on problem solving skills, because it's kind of like you're not just teaching them to fish, you're not just giving them the fish, you're teaching them the fish. Right. Yeah. And that's really important, because it also helps them build confidence. And that's the one biggest thing that I see, I think, with kids that are coming in that first month of school, is the lack of confidence in their abilities. And then the first time that they don't do well with a concept or don't do well on a quiz or test, then it just tanks from there.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing that we're most proud of is building that character for our kids and raising their self-esteem. Many people in the community, I know, it makes us proud. And our Youth of the Year, Rebecca Jocks, she's been around and speaking to people, and her journey with us, her challenge coming in as a Boys and Girls Club member is that she had very low self-worth. She had this self-hatred and a poor image of herself. And through the club and its programs and its staff, she was able to build herself up. And now her vision for America's youth is really to share that so many kids are on that journey. They don't feel worthy. They have these other feelings, and that's one thing that we can help with at the club. Come to us, express what's going on. Through our programs with her, it was Smart Girls that taught her about what beauty truly was. And so she began to love herself. And that's not something that you can learn just anywhere. That's something that we're really intentional about, and we pick the right people to work with our kids on.
And, those skills also, she may, and other kids who need those skills, may have a strong support team at home, but it doesn't mean as much when your mom says you're beautiful as it does when you understand why you're beautiful in an atmosphere where no one's related to you and they don't have to make you feel good.
That's true.
One of the other things that, as Melanie was touching on, is just we're not being cookie cutter either with it. So when you look at just the demographics and the geographic areas, making sure that we're giving those kids exactly what they need, and ensuring that when they leave, as Melanie said, is that they feel good about themselves and that they can accomplish. Everyone's not going to be an athlete. Everyone's not going to be a rocket scientist. But they can still, within themselves, be a good leader and still make a difference in the community and in this world. And so we give everybody that opportunity, all our youth, that opportunity to be able to do that.
And it's a sad fact that some of the kids who are naturally talented and gifted in certain activities, whether it be athletics or whether it be some type of club thing, during the school year, either they don't have transportation, or they have to be somewhere else right after school, or they have to, if they're older, maybe they have to watch younger siblings. But this gives them the opportunity to pursue something they might not have time to do, especially. It's funny because I see kids that I didn't even know that they were good at certain sports or that they were good at some club activities until the end of the year, because they didn't participate at school. Because for some reason or another they weren't encouraged to by their parent, or like I said, they had other things that were coming up. So you kind of give them an opportunity to dip their toe in a little bit of everything to see what they like and what they're good at or what they enjoy. A lot of times what you enjoy is the same thing you're good at, or you're good at something because you enjoy it. But sometimes you're spectacularly bad at a sport and you still love it. And you still should have the opportunity to play.
It's funny when you talk about sports. When I'm at some of the clubs, I'll tell the boys that I could beat them in basketball. And I mean, they're like 7 and 8 years old, and I really can't beat them in basketball. But the confidence that they have, that an adult is saying, I'm going to beat you in basketball, or let's play, it's awesome just to give them that opportunity. Or I know our staff, especially I know our senior staff, go out and talk to the young people, no matter what the reason is, and you see that it's about the young, that young person needing to know that they can be, or they can become whatever it is that they want to. We have a story in our office where we have a young lady who works for us, and she's probably not the likely employee that you would typically hire, only because she's just 16, 10th grader, and working in an administrative office for what we're doing. But we took a chance with her because she showed some other skills that we knew that could relate to what we wanted. And so she's doing a phenomenal job, and she's finding her way. She's finding what she's able to do. But it really does come to, no matter what it is, having a caring adult.
Well, one of the other things I remember about Boys and Girls Club programs is the ability to encourage the kids at different ages, and the dances and music and drums and other than sports too, to encourage them, and singing. Like, how could I leave off singing? Because they have the opportunity to again be working with other kids. And I know, what am I reaching too far back here, Melanie? Back in the day, wasn't there a competition? Yes, there was a competition, and our Boys and Girls Club, our Port St. Lucie Ken Pruitt unit, won this national Save the Music competition, because it was so long ago that that was my first year of teaching, not like first year like I was a young teacher coming out of nowhere, but the first year that I moved from journalism to teaching. So it was like 2009 maybe. And one of those kids was in my 12th grade class, one of the girls that sang in the video. And you would have known, because she hung out with like one of her friends in class. She never spoke up. She never never volunteered the answer. She didn't really highlight herself, and yet she had like the major solo in that competition, and they won a national competition. So she had the opportunity to do that through the Boys and Girls Club. It changed her life.
It did, and that's Ashley. I remember her. She got to sing at the Apollo Theater. And what we do to encourage the kids in different arenas like that. So every club, right now during the school year, they have Club Friday. So they get to pick, and depending on the club, maybe one club is very specific about the arts. Maybe one is drama. Maybe one is singing. Some have the bucket band. So each club has their own little niche of something special they like to do depending on that group of kids, and then that carries over into the summer as well.
Yeah, that is so fun, and again, it encourages them to take a new look at things that they haven't done in the past and try something new. And the experiences that that group had, and then another year, you all had a basketball team that went. And did they win at nationals?
Like,
Did
I think
they
it was
win
like the
at
NCAA.
state? Yeah,
They won first place, I think.
Yeah,
There's
so
a couple more issues to
yeah,
that.
yeah, and
They
then
did win.
I've been involved as a volunteer and also as a board member,
Yes,
and
you were.
also for a brief time as a staff member at the Boys and Girls Club. And so I'm like pulling some of these things from my memory. But the Boys and Girls Club has always stood out as an organization nationally, of course, but also in St. Lucie County that offered kids of all ages opportunities. And the whole idea of the Boys and Girls Club, of course, if it's not something that you, the listener, are familiar with, is it offers a club atmosphere for kids who want to belong, and it offers them the academic step up, the character step up, and the community development. And at the same time, it's basically very inexpensive care for the younger kids, for families.
Yes. I wanted to tell you that as we continue to grow, and right now we're in 19 locations, or 20, 19? 19. Well, we're working
Until
on 20.
summer.
Yeah.
Summer. One of the things that we're really looking at is the whole trauma-informed care. And we're looking at some other items to make sure that we're relevant into what we're doing. And so can you imagine just having 100 kids, 120, 150 kids in one area? How do we make sure that we're giving all those kids what they need? And so we've been looking at and working with agencies over this past year so that we can be well informed, that our staff can be well informed, to make sure that we're giving all of the kids in the county where we're at the best club experience. And it's, we typically will talk about in some of the neighborhoods that we're in, but a kid is a kid is a kid, no matter where they're at in the county. So we're really working toward really making sure we're giving them the tools that they need.
And thinking about some of the past mottos of the Boys and Girls Club each year, it just takes one. I remember it just takes one. So it just takes one mentor, one
That's right.
relationship, one. And all of the alumni that, have made so much of themselves, and then they're very vocal about, hey, we owe it all to the Boys and Girls Club. It changed our lives.
We're excited because we have a good base of alumni, and actually on May 30th we're having our graduation this year, and a lot of our alumni are going to be coming to that. They pin our current seniors, and all of our seniors sign up to be alumni, so they keep in touch with us. And then this upcoming year, our Infinity unit, which you're familiar with, we're going to be reopening that because it's had a major renovation. It'll be a $600,000 facelift.
Wow.
And it's going to be a brand new building. And what we're going to do is invite all those club kids back. And so you'll see a lot of familiar faces, but kids back from the last 15 years that have gone to college. They have their careers. Some already have families. And I think it'll be phenomenal for them to walk through those doors with this new set of kids and see what's offered to the children in this community at a whole different level.
And it's exciting to the kids, too, to see that what club kids can grow up to be. And there's not a generic club kid. There's so many different kinds, as you all stated. There's so many different areas of St. Lucie County, and the populations are so differing. And the kids, you give the different locations the ability to, what the kids are interested in is what you try to offer. And there's a lot of opportunities for community members to both volunteer and get involved and also mentor. So let's talk a little bit about that. I know you have something coming up on May 12th that is a fundraiser over at the Met Stadium. Want to talk about that. And then, of course, the Chili Cookoff, which is a major fundraiser for you, that's coming up July 7th, Is that correct? July
The 14th.
14th. Okay. The following week. So there's a lot of things that I want to get started talking about, and the summer programs that we began talking about, the summer programs, 12 different locations. Best way to sign up is to look online, or if your kid is already going to a location, to check and see what's open. But the important thing, I think, to remember is do it sooner rather than later, because the programs do fill up.
They do.
All right. Anything else we want to cover about the summer programs, or should we move on to the Mets?
It's just going to be, it's going to be a fun summer.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids are going to have a great time. Last year we started a program where we're going to get all the kids at the end together. We're going to do that again this year for a day of competition. We only had 10 last
Are
year.
you going to beat them all in basketball?
No.
It was 800 kids in one
800 kids
location.
in one location.
God.
Against Will in basketball.
Yeah, and I'm still sore.
Well, so there's a lot of fun stuff, and also for the parents and for the teachers to recommend the programs as well, instead of the kids not getting learning gains over the summer. They'll get learning gains and they'll have fun through the summer programs. So you have a lot of funding that does come in because you are busy writing grants and getting some federal funding and getting some local funding, but a lot of the funds that support the programs are from special events that you have, and the opportunity for people like you and me to also give to Boys and Girls Club. So let's talk about the next fundraiser you have coming up, which would be probably the one on May 12th. Is that right?
You probably be more excited. I mean, I'm excited about it, but you're more excitable. So why don't you tell them about it?
I do love baseball.
Yeah.
I especially like food that comes in a cap, and they have a lot of that readily available at first data field.
There's nothing like a hot dog at a baseball game.
So we're so fortunate that the Mets partner with us, and it's going to be the only home game, I believe, in May on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And there's going to be fireworks, and of course we have our Star Wars theme. So if people come out to the game that, I think it's in the evening, we have characters that'll be dressed up. We have all kinds of fun games going on. There'll be games going on throughout the game as well on the field. And the really cool piece is that every year they make very specific jerseys that have to do with Star Wars for us, and then they'll auction them off. So all those Star Wars lovers, they'll have a specific design available. And if you can't make the game, we usually have them up on Facebook so people can bid on them. And the tickets are only $8. So it's a great family fun night, and we also have sponsorship opportunities available.
And the sponsorship opportunities would include purchasing a certain amount of tickets and then giving them back to give away to kids.
You can give them back or you can keep them, whichever one you'd like.
So it could be a really great bonding experience for a small business or a large business.
Absolutely.
So how do people find out more about that?
So in order to get a sponsorship packet, they can actually either visit us online or they can call Megan, which our number is 460-9918, and her extension is 108. And they can figure out which package. We have about 3 available. And
they could be a part of the event as a sponsor, and then, some of the sponsorships, probably booth space and tickets and
some marketing visibility the day of, and a lot of other fun stuff.
Yeah, so check it out. Call Megan and get more information about that. Or you can people just come to the game and be a part of the fun?
Absolutely. Right now, what we're doing is we're enticing people to buy tickets at our clubhouses. So any school site, any clubhouse we have, all of our clubs are in competition to who can sell the most, because the winner is going to get a ice cream party, and the kids are excited. So
I bet I'd be excited.
The best place would be to actually go to a club to purchase the tickets.
So in that way, there's a way that you'd be getting those kids ice cream.
Ice cream, of course, the most important thing.
Yes. And the event itself, will take place on May 12th at the Met Stadium, so you can buy tickets for that. But you can also, as Melanie said, the players are going to be wearing the special Star Wars jerseys. And then they're going to get auctioned off afterwards. So one of the things that, the last time you were on, we did talk about this right off, and I want to remind people to like Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County on Facebook. And then you also have a regular e-newsletter that goes out too. So those are two really important things that you can do to stay up to date on what's going on with Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County, just hit that little like button. I'm sure that you have like a Twitter, I think
Instagram.
Instagram, all the rest of the social media. Those are the ways that you can stay in touch and find out the news of what's happening, and find out the good news, and find out about the openings for things like summer camp and other programs. So the Mets game, that's an easy way to participate and raise funds and have fun too. Get out there, be a part of it, or be a sponsor for it. Or if you're not able to go that night, you can also bid on those jerseys. And if you're a Facebook friend, then you'll get first look at the bidding wars. Do they go up pretty high?
They do. Last year there were a few that went up as much as $200-$300 for one jersey. So the bids get up there.
And they're unique. They're one of a kind.
They're one of a
each
kind.
year they redesign them, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, that means that people need to collect them all. Isn't that what you do with Star Wars
That's
stuff?
what I would think. I like that.
Yeah. All right. That sounds great. We have the other big fundraiser that is coming up, of course, would be the Chili Cookoff. And that is coming up, as you mentioned, July 14th. It's a Saturday. It's a full day of activity. And you still have some spots open for teams. I know that you have an overall theme, and then each business picks from that, and they have like their own thing that they're doing. And I know WPSL is doing Toy Story.
Yes, we're so excited.
So I'm excited about that. Now, after being a chili chef for a number of years, myself and my husband a couple of years ago, we finally took home that top award for the top chili. And I couldn't really tell you what that recipe was because every year we put something new in the pot.
Oh, nice.
I'm a by the book, follow the recipe type of person, and we have several different recipes we combine. But my husband, all bets are off, and I'm kind of his sous chef. I cut up all the vegetables for him, and he mixes in the spices. And we'll probably be doing it again this year because we like the competition. Of course, there's each of the teams that come out for the Chili Cook-Off will be making a chili. But the Chili Cook-Off is so much more than chili. So let's talk about it. Let's just pretend that nobody knows what the Chili Cook-Off is. And let's tell them what they need to know and why they should participate. Let's just pretend.
Well, because Melanie is so excitable, I think you should take that challenge on. See, you added that let's pretend, and I'm not good at that.
Well, first of all, chili.
It's that business mindset.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Chili Cookoff has been in this community for 36 years.
Phew.
So we get stories literally every day. We were just talking about this. People come up to us from 20 years ago. I did this at the Chili Cook-Off. This was my favorite part. Do you remember when this happened? So there's all these chili memories that are
I've
coming up.
been a part of it for 26 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was just at elementary school when I started. No,
of course.
Yes.
So for us, we are trying to create those memories for all of our teams that are participating, which I believe we're going to have over 40 this year, and for all of those families that are coming and visiting and enjoying the day. So you can come and you can do the chili sampler if you want and make sure that you're touching several different booths. You can get peanut butter pie.
Oh my gosh. Let's just stop for just a minute. We have got to talk about the peanut butter pie.
It's my favorite.
Okay. Because Steve Hoskins' office, he's got a employee who's also a chef, and she makes the best peanut butter pie. And she won't let anybody help her. So the week before the Chili Cookoff, she's like making these hundreds and hundreds of pies, and they're storing all of these pies. And then at the Chili Cook-Off, you can either get a slice of pie, or you can take home a whole pie, or you can be kind of somewhere in the middle and get somebody else to split a pie with you. Oh my gosh, just thinking about that peanut butter pie though.
Well, we take pre-order, so maybe you need to get on the list.
Oh my gosh. Oh no, I always get the pie. I make sure that they don't run out. And this year, well, the last couple of years, Steve's got his daughter Taylor, who's now working with him too as a attorney, and I was talking to her last year about the peanut butter pies, and I don't know how anyone in that law firm stays thin with a person on board there that can make a peanut butter pie like that, because I can only imagine that if they can make peanut butter pie like that, then they probably have a whole slew of
All
other
kinds of yummy
things.
things.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. So yes, you can buy peanut butter pie.
Yes.
Okay.
So
sorry, didn't mean to wax eloquently about the peanut butter pie.
What's important for people to realize, it's not just chili. So every
peanut butter pie.
Every team has to cook at least one pot of competition chili.
Okay.
Every team is asked to conduct a fundraiser in their booth. So that's when they're making those other types of chili, or they're serving other foods.
Like peanut butter pie.
Peanut butter pie, hot dogs, barbecue, all kinds of things.
Yeah,
so
there are.
For the public, somebody that may say, well, chili is not my thing, well, we still have you covered. There's all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah. And then, of course, we have entertainment throughout the days. We have some live bands, and we have some acts that go up. Some of the favorites are the little chili pepper contest. So we have a group of younger boys and girls that go up, and they kind of do their little singing and dancing. And, of course, you all host that every year, which is really fun.
We do. And I got to judge it this last year. That was a lot of fun to judge it, too. Those kids are really cute. And some of them you don't even have to coach them up on stage. They're like, oh, there's a stage, I'm having at it.
Doing it.
But, to go back in history, my son Jake, who's 25 now, when he was 5, was a little Mr. Chili Pepper contestant.
I'm going to let him know that. I'm going to remind him.
Remind him about that. And that was probably one of his first experiences other than church choir on the stage. And, he just loved it. He just had the best time. But it's so much fun to watch those kids. And then even the kids that have to go up there with mom or dad, and, mom, you can see mom in the background and singing the song and doing the motions. It's so much fun to watch. It really is exciting. And then you've got the other acts, because each business also has to go on stage and do some sort of thing.
We do. We have different people going up throughout the day. One of the favorites is also the firefighters every year do the chili eating contest. And so we actually added something last year, which was fun. So we have the adults doing the chili eating, which is the fastest. And I don't think you can use your hands, and it's a bowl of chili and a couple of crackers.
So wait a minute. You can or can't use your hands?
You can use you get a spoon.
You get a spoon? Okay.
You do get a spoon. I thought,
you get a spoon.
yeah. Does anybody ever give the chili back to you later? like shortly right afterwards?
Oh.
No, that hasn't
I don't
happened
think
yet.
that has happened. Yeah.
And this past year we added on for the kids. We don't do a chili eating, but we did the Jello for them, and that was
that's
fun. They
fun.
got
Yeah,
up there and they
yeah.
got to participate
That's
and
neat.
win some prizes as well.
I
So.
don't think I saw that one. But yeah, the chili eating contest is a lot of fun to watch too. And you'd be surprised at the people who are good at eating chili. You would think that they would all be like really good at eating in general, and they're not. They're just, some of them are just really good at eating chili. And
Well, they just wait a whole year. They probably practice.
and don't eat
just to
chili for a
win.
year just to. So a lot of different opportunities. As I said, it's not just about the chili. It's about, the bottom line, of course, is it's about raising funds for the Boys and Girls Club. But for each of the businesses that are a part of it, it is also its own kind of development exercise, because you don't really get to know people until you build and man a booth with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And then you get to see what they're made out of.
It's very competitive.
Peanut butter pie, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And we're very proud of the teams. Last year's highest fundraising teams and ones that came up with even the best chili scores and all the best spirit awards. The St. Lucie County Board of County Commissioners was one of our top winners. Center State Bank was another top winner, and HCA as well. So we're very thankful that they come back year over year and they're back in there with the competition.
So-
Well, I'm hearing that that's not going to happen this year. I mean, I want them to win if they can, but there's some folks out there that are really competitive this year. So they're not
trash talking already.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as
Yeah,
simple
it's only
as it was.
April.
It's only April,
Yeah.
so it's going to be a hot summer.
Well, and speaking of only April, you have a limited amount of slots for other businesses to sign up, and to you have only 5.
Yeah, we just have a handful of team space left. So people can get involved that way. Sometimes people will say, well, we don't have enough manpower for a booth, which we have sponsorship opportunities available. And then some cases, if they want to be a vendor and they don't necessarily want to cook chili, we also have a area where we have some vendor booths available.
Yeah. The overall theme, so I know it's Toy Story for WPSL. So what is the overall theme for this year? Cartoons. So it's...
Looney Tunes, Minions, anything you can think of.
And how many teams do you already have signed up? You said you had room for 5 more.
Yeah, we have, I believe, over 35 signed up at this point.
Wow. And...
Everybody comes in costume.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
you really get to see who's who out there.
Yeah.
Because some people really come in costume.
Yeah, some people take it...
Like they really
Yeah.
are enjoying it a lot.
I'm laughing because I'm picturing some of the people who really...
Exactly.
And again, it's the same thing like with the chili eating contest. The people who really like wearing costumes and getting out there and showing maybe their true self are people you might least suspect would be that way. And you're talking about fundraising and that each team does a fundraiser, and some of the teams actually do their fundraiser beginning ahead of time. So even though it's only April, at some businesses you'll see that they're already selling different things where they're raising money for the Chili Cookoff to benefit Boys and Girls Club.
Absolutely. They do local lunches, breakfasts to raise money. Some of them have raffles going on. So if you take a look at our website and see the team listing, and we also do updates, of course, on our Facebook page, you can kind of keep up to date with some of the fun things that are going to be happening before the Chili Cook-Off.
So do they have to announce ahead of time what their own theme is going to be so you can make sure not to duplicate? I mean, you don't want 2 groups of Simpsons.
That's why we try to keep it up to date on our website so
Uh-huh.
that we don't, because it gets very competitive.
Yes.
So if you're looking to do a theme, double check the website first. That way you don't get disappointed.
You don't get all those costumes and all the material.
Oh, yes.
It's funny because last year I do the Sailfish Beer Mile that I'm in charge of in June, and I was in Aztec Printing 2 different times, ordering T-shirts and ordering things for the Beer Mile. And both those times there were different business people in there, talking to them about ordering different things for their booths or specialty items for them. And that's one of the coolest things about, I think, the Chili Cookoff is because it benefits area businesses in many other ways like that too. And everybody knows what has been done before at the Chili Cookoff, and especially the businesses that do things like promotions and can help build booths. They can give you advice on what hasn't been done and what you can do that's something different.
We've been holding little orientations this year, so we'll get a cluster of teams together, and then they can share best practices, because there's some teams like the Elks or the Fort Pierce Yacht Club. I mean, they've been doing this for years, so they have a lot of experience to share.
So do some of the teams do the same thing year after year? I mean, obviously, you know, Hoskins can't get away from the peanut butter pie, because if they did, there'd be so many people that were disappointed. But do a lot of the other teams come up with different types of fundraisers?
Some switch it up, but we do have some that are staples. I know that the Fort Pierce Police Department usually has their jail and bail, which is always fun.
Yes.
If you want to send somebody there if they're annoying you that day, you can send them, and they're going to have to beg to get out. And some come up with brand new ideas every year, some really innovative things to get people to come over to their booths. They have those little Wheel of Fortunes, or they have specialized raffles. I've seen all kinds of fun stuff. Some have even brought in celebrities that are there to autograph items or take pictures.
That's a neat idea. Or pretend celebrities.
You could dress up. No one would know.
Yeah. It depends on your costume, doesn't it? So people can... You know, there's a lot of different ways you can get involved in the Chili Cook-Off. Of course, you can be a sponsor, you can be a vendor, you can get your business involved and sign up for a booth and the whole 9 yards that goes with it. You can just come and taste the chili and visit the booths and check everything out. It's always a lot of fun, and it's great to see the creative energies of the community, and it's really the community all coming together for a good cause. And I'm so excited that the cause is the Boys and Girls Club, because you usually have some sort of event there that your kids are at too. And I don't mean your particular kids, because both of you have a fair amount of kids on your own that are your own kids in your home. But the kids that are Boys and Girls Club kids that range in age from 6 to 18, and the alumni, they come back and they do different types of activities. And some of your performing groups, I know in the past, have also performed at the Chili Cook-Off. Any plans for that this year?
We'll probably have a group that'll be singing, and we do like our little bucket band. They do a really good job. So we may have some secrets up our sleeve this year.
We have some dancers too, don't we?
Yeah, the color guard.
The color guard, yeah.
Bucket band. Okay, so they have actual buckets they're playing?
Yes.
Are there special kinds of buckets? Do the buckets have
plastic.
different sounds? They're plastic. They're plastic buckets. Okay. So do they all sound the same? Or are there different tunes to the
kids
different
learn
buckets?
the different tunes to it. We're trying to teach our kids to be innovative. So even if you have a plastic bucket and a couple of drumsticks, we're trying to teach them that you can still make beautiful music with that.
I bet the parents just love that you're teaching them those skills.
Yes,
They got a lot of pots and buckets at the house, right?
Yes.
They can practice.
Yeah, no. So the bucket band will be performing, and the color guard that you have will be performing as well, and then you have some singers. So you'll get an opportunity to see in person some of the different activities that go on in the Boys and Girls Club. But if you can't make the Chili Cook-Off, then you can still see activities that go on in the Boys and Girls Club, and you can visit Boys and Girls Clubs the locations just by contacting you all and saying, hey, I'd really like a tour of a location near me. So how can one go about that?
They can just call our office, which is 460-9918. And again, let us know what location suits you, and we'll set up a little visit.
Also, if you have special skills, if maybe you're retired or you're just off for the summer, or you're just working part-time and you want to give back to the community, this is a really good way to give back to the community. I know in past years there's been people like seamstresses who've worked with kids, teaching them sewing skills, and then you have musicians, of course, and someone came up with that idea of the bucket band, and it just doesn't seem like a Will type of thing to do.
Exactly. Well, it's not me. No, I don't play
That's
with
why I'm
buckets.
saying no.
Actually, you'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm
Really?
good at it, but I do hit buckets every now and again.
You do hit buckets, but it's that creative mindset that anything can make music and anything can be fun, and I think that's really what the Boys and Girls Club is about. So. Melanie Wiles and Will Armstead, thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And if you want more information on any of the things that we've mentioned, for example, May 12th, the Mets fundraiser, the Star Wars memorabilia, you can please go ahead and click like for the Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County, or shoot them a note if you want to be on their e-newsletter list. And then, actually, if you want to come and take a tour of any of the clubhouses or locations, you can do that as well. Anything else you want to add? We got another minute or so.
Yeah, sure. I would like to, first of all, say we wouldn't be able to do this without our board of directors. And you as a past board member, you know how hard you guys work. And our funders, a lot of our funders like CSC, United Way, and a lot of our private donors, and so many others that do a lot for us in the community. We absolutely could not do our jobs without them. So thanks to all.
And they're holding you accountable, too, because people know that when you receive funds from some of these organizations that you've got to provide information that shows that you're offering the services at the level that they expect. So it's kind of like the Good Housekeeping seal of approval.
Absolutely.
It is. Well, thanks again for being my guest today. Thank you for joining me. You've been listening to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show, and I'm here every Saturday morning at 11:05 and Monday at 6:05. Have a great week. We'll see you next week with more.
The Sue Ellen Sanders Show, Saturday mornings at 11:05, Monday evenings at 6:05, every week right here. By the way, archives of the Sue Ellen Sanders Show can be seen on YouTube. Just go to www.wpsltv.com. That'll take you straight to our YouTube archives, where you can find the Sue Ellen Sanders Show on WPSL.com.